Standing united, foreign ministers in Vancouver delivered a warning to North Korea. Stop your weapons development or face more isolating punishments.
Investing in nuclear weapons will lead only to more sanctions and to perpetual instability on the peninsula.
Delegates from 20 countries agreed today to continue a coordinated pressure campaign against North Korea through sanctions.
We must increase the cost of the regime's behavior to the point that North Korea comes to the table for credible negotiations.
Despite agreement around the table, no new measures were announced, aside from Canada investing $3 million in a sanctions enforcement training program.
It would help if Russia and China were involved in this meeting, because we can't enforce the sanctions without China particularly, and Russia also.
Neither China nor Russia were invited to the summit, which has led to skepticism about how much impact the talks will have. But some argued diplomacy may already be working, since North and South Korea recently reopened talks for the first time in 2 years.
Despite the long absence, I have to report that the dialogue has been rather productive and positive.
The new dialogue is a welcome break in the illegal weapons testing carried out by North Korea, but Kim Jong-un's motives are being questioned.
I believe that North Korea wants to buy some time to continue their nuclear and missile programs. They simply want to get something out of this dialogue.
Katie Simpson is here in Vancouver, and so, Katie, the big question, is anything expected to change as a result of these talks?
In the short term, Ian, no. Consider this a warning shot that if North Korea doesn't stop its weapons development, it will be slapped with even more sanctions. For immediate changes, these countries really need to get China and Russia on board with the plan to make sure those sanctions are being fully enforced. But it doesn't look like Moscow or Beijing want to do more on that front, since they've been openly criticizing this meeting for about a week now.
Interesting that the site of these talks was in Canada. What does this country get by being a co-host?
Well, this kind of gathering certainly doesn't hurt Canada's reputation on the world stage, but the Canadian government, at its core, truly believes diplomacy has to be the way out of this. And while U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who is the co-host, he believes that too, not everyone in the White House is so supportive. So this summit today helps Tillerson drive that message home to the Trump administration that America's allies want diplomacy, and perhaps they should give it more time to develop.
All right, Katie, thank you. And as we just heard, notably absent at this Vancouver gathering, China and Russia, two key players that not only share land borders with North Korea, but are also Kim Jong-un's main allies. Besides the co-hosts, Canada and the United States, there are also senior officials from 18 other nations here in Vancouver. Some you'd expect, such as South Korea and Japan, but others that might surprise you. Keep in mind, the guest list is made up of countries that contributed troops or equipment to the United Nations side of the Korean War from 1950 to 53. That's why Greece, Norway, and Colombia are in, and China and Russia, which backed the North during the war, are not. China, North Korea's main trading partner, reacted angrily to not having a seat at the table, calling it Cold War thinking to involve only those allies which supported the South decades ago. Beijing dismissing the meeting as meaningless without them, claiming it could even destabilize the region and create divisions within the international community. This morning, China blasted the international community on state-run TV just as the talks began in Vancouver. Unity on the issue is extremely important, this news bulletin said. Russia has gone a step further, its foreign minister condemning the summit as harmful and destructive.